So we are already progressing very good, and we are coming now to some more general description about project management and the main activities. So in section G, you're being asked to describe for each planned activity what will be done in preparation and how you will generally prepare and manage this project. So for section G1, practical arrangement, it's actually really, you have to be quite detailed, or you have to think about how you are going to organize actually the travel and the accommodation for those that are taking place. It's really, how will you organize the travel? Will you have extra insurance for those that are participating? And what happens in case of emergency? You don't have to be very detailed here. My best advice could be saying that the travel will not be organized by each individual alone, but that maybe you as a school, you as an organization will use a travel agency that will also cover cost, for travel insurance and health insurance. Just to make sure you mention some of these points that are in the bracket, that travel and accommodation might either be organized by the travel agency. In the courses that we are offering as part of the European Science Education Academy, we usually provide you with an option for accommodation. For example, in all those summer courses that are taking place in July in Greece, as part of the Inspiring Science Education Academy, they are taking actually place in a hotel. So it makes you can say that you are selecting courses that are taking place already, or that are already offering accommodation options. And we are making sure that the costs for those hotels are actually within the limits of the budget of the Erasmus Plus program. In terms of insurance, just to make sure that you mentioned that there will be an extra travel insurance that the travel agency will buy for those participants. That health insurance is being covered by by your health insurance, and okay, we don't really need extra measures for safety and protection for the participants as you're traveling in countries like Greece, Spain, Portugal, or so, or the UK, where nothing like a visa or special protection is needed. But apart from those very organizational aspects, there might also be some other issues. It mentioned mentoring and support, preparatory meetings with partners. Now, the preparatory meetings with partners refers more of a consortium. Usually under KA1, they are not consortia applying, but individual organizations. But under mentoring and support, you could say that there will be preparatory meetings for those traveling in order to get maybe familiar with the country they are going to in case that it's really needed. Now, under project management, you should define a little bit the roles within your organization on who's dealing with what aspects. I mentioned earlier that you should, for example, have a project manager that takes care of all the activities that make sure everything happens within the promised time frame, or that other training activities within the organization after the training are actually taking place as planned, or that somebody needs to assume the role of dealing with the financials. It's not very much, it's not a big role, but it's an important role. And it would be helpful if you could here describe that within the school, within your organization, you have already identified that somebody is there for the time management. Somebody is responsible for the financial management, dealing with the travel agency, dealing with the national agency. Somebody will be writing the report. After the project is done, you will have to write a small report about what you have done and what you have achieved. So all of this should already be mentioned here. It's just important to remember that the project doesn't end with attending the courses. the idea is that the courses are maybe a peak in the activities, but there are preparatory activities that lead to actually attending the course. But then those that attended the course come back and they are supposed to share the knowledge what they have learned. So all of this is part of the project management. How will you organize this? What other maybe workshops will you offer? We will also discuss this in section H, in section I when it comes to the follow-up. But already here you can generally address these issues. Another important part in section G3 is what kind of preparation will be offered to the participants. And that can be task related. For example, are there courses that require some preparation in terms of topics, in terms of maybe it's needed for the course that already some activities should be done beforehand, some reading. Maybe you need to already prepare a classroom scenario. But there might also be some other aspects, intercultural, linguistic, risk prevention. Should you maybe train your participants in some of these aspects? And of course, who will actually do these preparatory activities? So in this plan, you should also detail, what kind of training will be provided, when and by who. And that leads us actually to the next section, section H, the main activities. And you will understand that some parts are becoming quite, well, in a way repetitive, that things that you have mentioned before, you will have to mention again, but you will have to put them in a little bit different context. Here, in this section, it's important to provide a chronological outline of the activities and the objectives of the project. So really give the evaluator an understanding that you have clearly understood that the project lasts for 12 or 24 months, whatever you decide, and that it includes preparatory activities, then the actual mobilities, and it could be more than one. It could be, different courses attended by the same or different people, but that they come back and that there's a plan in place for already then continuing within your school the activities, workshop for colleagues, presentations of what you have learned, maybe even a pilot of if you are learning about some interesting project-based learning aspect, that that those that are attending the training course will actually implement with their students later on a workshop or this project-based learning over several weeks or months. That you also bring together the roles and responsibilities, what we have just discussed in the project management of the staff members of your organization. So basically here you present an overall picture. And it does make sense to fill in section H1 before. Now, I will not talk now about section H1 here because this is closely related also with the budget. So I invite you to go to the next video tutorial where I talk about section H1 and the budget, because it has to do with selecting the learning activities. Basically, it's a drop down where you already define how many persons will go to what kind of training events. So, but in the main activity section here, you basically have to provide the overall picture. And that should also include, how will the participants be monitored during the training? Who will monitor and who will follow up on the training that they will be offering to their colleagues after? So, how will you communicate within your organization and with the relevant stakeholders?